What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of That Hobby Show. Tonight it's That Hobby Show After Dark. And with me again is the co-host extraordinaire, Daniel. What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing really well after a really nice week to start. A really nice way to start the week in baseball early last week.
Yeah.
Uh, it
How so?
is well the Braves won. The Astros blew it. The 7. Game 6 was just so fun to watch. The Astros couldn't score in the first inning after stepping on. They just have to be dirty and stepping on Max Fried's ankle.
Yeah.
And the ankle said, I'm stronger. And then Max Fried comes back out with men on first and second, nobody out, and he gets out of the inning. And then from that point onwards, the Astros just. I don't think they probably reached scoring position never but once for the
Yeah.
rest of the game, and their offense couldn't do anything, and it was
Yeah.
just so fun to watch. I loved that game. The Braves deserve it, and um, going to root for the Braves. Well, not next year, but this Braves. I thank you for beating the Astros. I love you guys.
Yeah, it was actually a pretty entertaining series. I didn't have a dog in the fight, but I was kind of like cheering. I really hate the Astros.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
but I wanted to see Dusty Baker win it,
yeah.
or if it was going to be the Braves, Ron Washington,
Yeah.
because I just
Yeah,
love that guy. I
a
can't
lot of
do-
yeah, I have a lot of Texas Rangers fans around here. There are a good amount of Astros fans, a good amount of Rangers fan, and um, yeah, Ron Washington just feels like such a great person, and especially after those two tough losses earlier last decade, he
Mhm.
deserves to have one, and he finally did. He finally does, and you know, I still hate as the Astros so much more than I love Dusty Baker. So I'm okay with this. And he's signed up for another year, so he's just staying with the evil empire. He's staying on the dark side of the force. So
Yeah,
it's not my fault now. Like you're on the dark side and you're keeping on there in the dark side. So
yeah. One of my favorite things. I used to live in Arizona previously, and that was when Ron Washington was the manager of the Texas Rangers. And going to Ranger spring training was my absolute favorite thing to do. Usually, I'm trying to get autographs and stuff, but watching him, even though he was, most managers will just walk around with a fungo bat and just shoot the shit, but he was doing all those teaching drills with the infielders, and it's the videos don't do it justice watching him teach, and like the knowledge that the guy has, and you're able to get really close at Rangers camp, and you could actually hear what he's saying to the players and what the players are saying back to him, and just to be able to like hear that knowledge and try and soak it up and remember everything was awesome. And he was one of the most genuine people you could ever meet. And yeah, so I was really happy that he was able to get it. Kind of sad that Acuna was still hurt, so you
oh
didn't get
yeah,
to see him on the biggest stage. I
yeah,
mean,
but he does get a ring.
he
So
does. He
so
does.
and so does Terrence Gore.
Yes, future brother Terrence Gore.
No, 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 no. If you're gonna ruin his legacy if you make him join the brothers. He's
Never.
not gonna win a ring with the brothers. He's gonna win second place rings. He doesn't want that. He won first place rings.
Do they give a ring to the first half season
No,
champ?
no. I
No,
don't honestly. I don't think the CPBL makes rings.
at all.
I don't think the league has enough money to make rings. I might be wrong, but
Hmm.
I think the teams go out there and make their own rings. So if the CTPC brothers decide to go out there and make a ring for the first half, I think that is a. I don't think that's a smart move for them because they're not like if the Dragons had go on and went on to win the first half, I think they might have made a ring,
Yeah,
but I don't think the brothers should or would in those situations. Yeah, but I don't think the league makes I might be wrong, but I don't
Well,
remember the league making
Justin came
rings.
on, and so he's gotten a replica one before.
Well, no, that's the Lamigo Monkeys. I think they made rings. I don't know if the league made the Lamigo Monkeys one. That's the. I've never had confirmation of the CPBL league office making a ring for the championship team. I've seen teams themselves like Lamigo going out there and make one, because I feel like if the league does give everybody a ring, then we should have seen a lot more ring replicas, but I've only seen one from Lamigo ever.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I just don't, I'm not 100% sure whether the league makes one, which is why, yeah, it's a little bit more disappointing, because the MLB obviously makes, like, all the major North American sports makes one for the team. The league makes one for the team. Um, but yeah, I think in the CPPL's case, Lamigo was making their own rings. I don't think the Lions had a ring. I don't think so. If they did, I'm pretty sure Dykes-Horn or Millville would have shared it by now. Maybe they have. I just
Well,
don't
I
remember.
mean, Tim is fairly active on Twitter.
Yeah,
I think we might have to hit him up.
yeah,
Now it's
maybe. Yeah, I,
I'm
I just
genuinely
don't.
curious.
To me, it's just like, if they do have a ring, based on their engagement on social media, they would have shared it. Again, maybe I just don't remember it well. Maybe I just forgot it. But you
Yeah.
would imagine if they had it, they would have shared it by now.
Oh, for real? Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
I 1 year for Christmas, I got my son a replica Baltimore Ravens Super Bowl ring, and I think he wore it for like a month straight. He was like,
Really.
yeah, he was rocking it at school. Like,
Yeah.
he,
When was the last time the Ravens won?
oh, I was living in England at the time. I want to say 2013 or 2014.
Oh yeah, John Harbaugh. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
They
the
the
R Bowl.
Harbaugh Super Bowls. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I want to say it was like 2014.
yeah.
But
The
yeah,
Colin Kaepernick one. Yeah,
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
yeah,
and, well, that was the first year because
yeah.
I think Alex Smith was the starter, and
Hmm.
then they benched him for
Yeah,
Kaepernick.
yeah.
So look at that. First, what, 7 minutes? We've covered NFL, CPBL, MLB. Like, you get everything. We are doing a better job than SportsCenter right now covering sports.
I can't comment on that. I am not. I don't think it'll be good for my job right now to comment on that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
No, it's good. You're good. You're fine.
But so speaking though of NFL, thank you University of Texas
Oh
for
my
Justin Tucker.
Yes. I
Yeah,
thought you were gonna bring up last night. But yes, Justin
nah,
Tucker. He
yeah.
also, I don't know if I know, like, that game was such a bigger deal in Texas than outside of Texas. But did you know Justin Tucker scored the last points between the rival in the Lone Star Showdown between Texas and A&M in 2011, in their last, like, right now they're, what, A&M's in the SEC, Texas in the Big 12. They're gonna, obviously Texas is gonna join the SEC later, but as of today, the last game that both teams played together on Thanksgiving weekend was 2011, and that game was in Kyle Field, and uh, the quarterback for the Longhorns at the time was Case McCoy, which is a
Okay.
younger brother of Colt McCoy, who is playing for the Cardinals right now, and Texas was down, I think, I think they were down by 1 or 2, it doesn't really matter. It's like Texas was a field goal away from winning, and Texas was at the A&M 40-yard line, and Case McCoy rushed like 15 yards. Like, he was pressured outside of the pocket, and then he took off. He rushed for 15 yards with like 5 seconds left in the fourth quarter. So Mac Brown took a timeout, or something like, yeah. Mac Brown took a timeout, brought Justin Tucker in. A&M called timeout to ice him, but as a Raven fan knows, that doesn't work on Tucker. Tucker hits a perfect 25-yard field goal to win the last rivalry game between Texas and Texas A&M. And as of today, every time you go to, like, obviously I work a lot of Texas games. So our radio guy is called, our Texas radio play-by-play. He's called Craig Way, and as of today, his call of that kick is still being played every pregame.
Really?
Yes, I mean it's Texas and Texas A&M are like literally. I mean, I've never experienced it, but based on what
Yeah.
I heard, is probably the biggest, if not one of the biggest rivalries in college football
Hmm.
because of is the state of Texas. UT and A&M hate each other, and we won the first one, we won the last one, and we won more than A&M during the rivalry. So we can still say that until one day when we go back to the SEC, that will change. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, Justin Tucker. I mean, that's how. First time I heard of Justin Tucker, I was doing like kind of um, makeup research to make sure like I know at least the big moments of UT football history because I came in here late. And yeah, Justin. That's how I got introduced to Justin Tucker, and obviously all of the great kicks that he's been making for the Ravens the last 5 years. It's also been amazing.
Yeah, he's he's bailed him out a ton,
Yeah,
way more than I would.
he's such a weapon. Like
Mhm.
he's a great weapon. Like if you're at the no, probably not the midfield, but like if you're at the 45-yard line,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
like it's 3 points for you.
yeah, a
It's
couple weeks
amazing.
ago he made the 66 yarder. So
Yeah,
I mean, that's
yeah,
ridiculous that a human can do that and
yeah,
go out the next week and still be kicking footballs.
for
It's
sure. Yeah,
it's insane. But so staying in Texas, we were talking about the World Series, and you said you had a Minute Maid Park story that I need
yeah,
to hear. Yeah,
yeah. And thank you for bringing it up.
yeah,
um, so in 2019, right before the pandemic, literally, 2020, sorry, literally 2 weeks before I left Texas for Taiwan and escaped this whole um, pandemic in America, um, Texas had a like a Big 12 and SEC had like a cross tournament in Minute Maid Park. They do that all the time.
yeah,
This past season, Texas went to the Rangers Global Life Field. I think is the new one.
yeah.
Anyway, they went to so they went to Global Life this year. Last year they went to Minute Maid Park. We're gonna go back to Minute Maid Park next year, and Texas. It was like Texas and Baylor and doesn't matter what the other teams are, and so if a buddy and I cover the game, he's also a big baseball guy. He's a Rangers fan, so he also don't like he doesn't like the Astros. We had and then that was I think month or so after the MLB released the report that says the Astros cheated, even though they're not punishing anybody. But Cora and Beltran, no, they didn't. No, Cora and the manager earlier, I forgot his name. Um, and
Oh, AJ Hinch.
Hinch, yes, Hinch and Alex Cora. Those are the only two guys that got punished. And so we
Um,
went into the stadium. I'm pretty
Beltran,
sure
I think.
Beltran never got suspended, but he was fired by the Mets. I don't think
Yeah,
anybody will pick him up because the report
no.
doesn't. I think he didn't look good out
It
of
probably worked
in
out a
the
lot better for Carlos that he didn't,
yeah,
didn't do that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Um, and we went to Minute Maid Park. We had this idea to shoot like a news package, but we interviewed trash cans. So the opening shot of the news package. So they had like a I don't know, as a HTX Houston, Texas. They have a huge sign of like just HTX in center field, and because it was college football, college baseball, so there weren't enough fans to fill the stadium. Despite we had LSU and Texas and all the big names, but it was just not big enough for a Major League Baseball game stadium. So they actually basically they sold GAs, but it's all infield seats. So they basically don't let the fans go to the outfield seats, but we as press were allowed to do that. So we just took the camera, went to center field, and our opening shot was like a shot of the HTX sign, and then me having the talking the opening, and then the zoom out to me, and then I was saying, Texas is playing this. Texas currently playing the college classic in Minute Maid Park, and the home of the Houston Astros who won the 2017 World Series, and we're so glad to just run into a few key players, few key figures of that World Series championship. And this is one of them, and then we just pan to, like, a trash can, and then, we were just, like, asking them questions like, "Oh, how do you feel about the championship? You know, did you get enough champagnes on you? You know, like, what were your contributions? You know, and did it hurt you? Did it hurt when they were banging the bats on you the whole?" And we interviewed 3 trash cans. Like, we went to like, we just kinda ran around the ballpark and, like, interviewed 3 different trash cans. One of the trash cans we interviewed, quote unquote, was in front of a vendor that was not open,
Uh-huh.
and one of the ushers came by, and he goes, "Hey, do you want me to move away the trash can for you?" Because he thought we were doing a stand up, and obviously the trash can won't look good. And I was like, "No, no, 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 no! Keep the trash can there. That's who we're interviewing." And he was like, "Oh my god, that is so funny!" And then he was laughing all along,
Uh-huh.
and he actually stayed there while we're doing the recording, like just watching us do our bit. And and then no, like, and then we were all doing like we were having so much fun. And then this one guy with the badge in Astros polo, and a khakis, I think, looked a little bit more upper level than an usher, okay? Like, let's just say it that way. And he walked by, he saw us, he was confused at first, and then he figured out what we were doing and just stared at me the whole time he was walking by. And then we were just like, and at the time I was like, oh my god, are we in trouble? But he just walked by, and I was just like, it doesn't make sense for them to do anything to us, because one, we're a student television. It's just too like
Yeah.
obviously it's two college students. Like, we're not it's not gonna get aired on KHOU or something. Like, it's not gonna get aired anywhere
Mhm.
besides our little student district. And what kind of a press would that be if they stopped student TV from doing what we were doing? I mean, it's just a fun, like, it's so, I mean, at the time I was like, oh my god, are we in trouble? But nobody really came back to stop us. And then I actually just sat there, edited the whole thing. I sat in the Houston Astros media room editing this bit on the Houston Astros scandal by interviewing the Houston Astros trash cans around the stadium, and I published it using the Houston Astros Wi-Fi. And at that point, I was just like, "This is so cool!" Like, this is like, I mean, it is one of the better packages that we did in terms of like outreach and engagement. But still, it's a small station where we're at, so
Yeah.
it's never going to be groundbreaking or anything. But it's just like one of the greatest thing that I like. For me, it's just like, this is so fun. Um and then we enjoyed it. I mean, it was a great time we had. I actually did also interview the fake Mickey Mouse they had. They had a statue of Mickey Mouse. I was like, "Hey, can you get me a job?" Yeah, so yeah, that was what it was. That's the story. Yeah, and yeah, it's one of those stories I tell a lot of people a lot
Mhm.
of times, especially when especially I know they haven't heard it before. And so I appreciate you waiting,
Yeah.
because I brought it up in pre-show, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna wait till the show to talk about it.
Yeah, that was a good one. So please tell me somebody was working the flap of the trash can like a mouth. So it was flying. No?
No, we never found one that had a flap. We
Oh,
did one with the more of a garbage can. Not garbage. More like one of those big ones, like the big square ones that they have at stadiums.
no, okay.
It's like we did find some, but it's just not like we didn't tell the Astros people like, hey, can you get us a trash can? You know what I'm saying? Like, we just found what we can look. I mean,
We want
as long
the
as the
trash can.
yeah, as long as the point goes through. Actually, what's interesting also is uh, the path from the media room to the so they every most stadiums have booths on each side of the field that's like right next to the locker room.
Mhm.
And to get from the media room to that booth, you normally have to go through like all these secret aisles in like behind, like underneath all the bleachers and all the seats. And technically those are also how the players get to their locker rooms. So we actually walked in front of the Astros locker room and we were like, hey, can we is this where the TV was? Is this where the trash can was? And it was just well, us having a lot of fun. But we didn't film anything in those technically more restricted areas. We
Yeah,
did it in those public areas, but it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun that day.
gotcha. But yeah, that That's not what I was expecting. But I like that story. That was a good one. But so we were also talking about the CPBL earlier,
Yes.
and the Uni Lions
Yes.
last home game of the year. They did something that would make uh, how should I word it? Regular or real baseball fans, I guess,
Yes.
if they want to call themselves that.
Fans of real baseball. Yes.
Yeah, fans of real baseball, it would have made their heads explode and cancel the CPBL. But the Uni Lions had a concert after the game,
Yeah.
and the players actually participated
Yeah.
and seemed grateful for the fans.
Yeah. And I gotta say though, they're not the only team that does it. I mean, the Monkeys players were singing during their concert this year.
Yeah,
Last year they actually did kind of like American Got Talent. The brothers, CTPC brothers, did it like American Got Talent style show after the game, where like I think like four guys sang, and then like the three veterans were sitting there judging them. Um, but so this year, what the Lions did, so normally other teams they do one night of like real singers and one night of um, players singing. But what the Lions did is they basically combined the two. So people who were there to watch the concert also watch the players sing, and vice versa. So and this is also, as far as I can tell, the first time that foreign players participated, um, which is what made it so. That's what made me tweet about it. It was like,
yeah,
I can tweet about guys singing all day long, but foreign players, they went up there and they were dancing the Lions, the Lions song every pregame. And so yeah, just as far as I know, the first time that any foreign players participated, which is really fun. I mean, I'm not met Felix Dubron. I have met Brock Dykstorn and Tim Melville. I can tell that both of those players are just absolutely amazing people to be around.
mhm,
And I mean, I from the screen, I can also, obviously, uh, Felix Dubron seems to be a wonderful person to be around too. Um, and yeah, I mean, for one to have to go on the stage and perform stuff like that. I mean, it takes a lot of amicability, I think. So yeah, it's great stuff from the Lions. Guardians, I think, also had a concert. I mean, having a concert every single year is kind of more of a regular CPPL thing now,
yeah,
because the Lamigo started it and it was so successful. Other teams started copying it, so it's not unusual to have a concert. But the Lions, as far as I can tell, also is the only team that allows the fans to come up to the field
yeah.
and
They were
watch the concert up front, rather than setting up a stage on the field and everybody still have to watch from the stands, which is obviously you're further away. In terms of Liz performing at the Purple Party, I don't know, because I wasn't watching the league that much in 2019. But
Orioles legend Radames Liz.
Yes, Rondamus Liz.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he might have. I just don't. I didn't know that. I didn't know that part.
Yeah, and so we were also talking earlier what Major League Baseball teams we thought
Yeah,
would actually do that. I said the A's because I don't know if you've ever been to Oakland for a game, but
Coliseum.
yeah, that's the closest that, in my opinion, that's the closest MLB stadium to an Asian baseball experience because they have all their players have their own chants. You're allowed to bring drums and shit inside the stadium. Because I know I always hear when people are watching like MLB TV or whatever, you can select what
Yeah,
broadcast you hear, and a lot of people are like, "Yeah, I won't even do Oakland because the vuvuzelas in the background and people hitting on the railing with their drumsticks." But yeah, the Coliseum, I love it, and they call it bleacher seating, but they're actually regular seats.
yeah.
But it's $10.
Because nobody goes.
Well, it's a huge stadium too. It's
Right.
way too big for
Yeah.
baseball.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
And it's actually a shame that not more people go to A's games because A, they're fun, B, they're super affordable except parking. Parking's like $30. And then
That's how they make up the ticket sales, huh?
yeah. And
Yeah.
the team is usually, I mean, Oakland hasn't been bad the past few years.
But
So
I feel like if well, I can't I can't speak to like the Oakland, San Francisco market and how that operates because I know it's a little bit more intricate than a regular like a Texas market or a Houston market. But
yeah.
um, I feel like for a second team, like a second fiddle team, for example, like the Mets or the Angels, you need to be a little bit more than not bad to attract crowd, and also just just it's just bad optics. If you're a casual fan trying to get into baseball and you watch an A's game, there could be a lot of people there, but it just doesn't seem like it because, like you said, the stadium is so big.
Yeah, and the foul territory. I mean, you
Yeah,
really have to zoom out to be able to see the fans.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
yeah, but yeah, it's and I think their personality, most of the players' personalities would actually fit um
Yeah,
going up on a stage and, kind of embarrassing yourself a little bit, you know.
yeah, yeah. I feel like I feel. When we brainstormed this earlier, I said the Padres because I feel like people will pay a lot of money to watch Fernando Tatis and Machado and Yu Darvish sing or do some sort of a dance. Um, I think uh, I think though the new so the I feel like there's a culture shift for the Red Sox in the last couple of years. They're a lot more
Yeah,
loose now. They're a lot more fan friendly. Um, the Yankees are still staying with their white collar, like we want to do this, like the whole business thing, which isn't working that well. But I
yeah,
feel like the Red Sox has done a really good job, like changing their culture, changing their narrative a little bit. I feel like a lot of the players on the Red Sox would probably want to do it. And Fenway Park, I mean, that's about as close a fan can be to the field in the MLB because of how small the ballpark is and how
yeah.
old it is. Like it was built to be a lot more closer to the field.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, so I can see the Red Sox doing it, and maybe have Ortiz back and do something like I feel like Ortiz will be down,
Oh
to do
yeah, dropping
something.
F-bombs, they would love it.
Yeah, yeah, I feel like Ortiz will be down to go back and do something like that, um, but I
I
see the Padres doing it because when they were winning, they were also one of the more exciting young team. But like you said earlier, like when you have to look at how like the team trajectory and maybe choose like the last game of the season. Uh, if you're in a playoff hunt, then you don't want to do it in the
yeah,
MLB. If you are like the Padres, when you fell off the playoff hunt after having like an 8 game lead at the All Star break, they probably wouldn't do it. So I think it's really hard to go to this through the CPBL route where the Lions, look, they're about to win the second half. They're about to go to the Taiwan series. They're about to have, I think, one of the most anticipated Taiwan series in a while. Especially, this Taiwan series will be more anticipated than it was last year, pre series wise. Last year, I think pre series people thought that the brothers were a much better team. This year, going into the Taiwan series, I think it will be a very uptight series for both teams. And so for the Lions players to and the team to accept this and do something like this, I think it was remarkable. I don't think on that front, I don't think a lot of MLB teams would do it.
yeah.
But yeah, in normal circumstances, I would say the Padres and the Red Sox.
I did think of another one after seeing your shirt. Uh, I think the Marlins, they're young
Yes,
and loose, and then
yes,
you're in Miami. Like,
yes.
oh, dude, it,
But but I would say their stadium is not built for it. Their stadium, I've been there once. It's another one of those like it's too big, nobody goes there. You know, what I'm well, it's probably not too big like the way the Coliseum is. The stadium is amazing. It's a great stadium. When I first went there, I loved it, but the team just doesn't perform up to the standard of the stadium, and you just get bad optics all the time. And also, the seats are a little bit further away from the field. Like
yeah,
it's not. we were sitting in the outfield, which is, like, it's not unfair angle for us. But even the outfield, like the walls are super high. Like it wasn't like Fenway Park, where you can like sit right there. Like it
No.
wasn't really engaging for a fan to watch the game. But
Don't they have their own DJ too?
I mean, it's Miami. I would guess so.
Yeah.
Like it's
It's either and Phil Flagro probably knows. I want to say it's either the Marlins or the Rays that has their own DJ. Yeah, I can't remember, but yeah, I mean something like that, man. Have a dance party, and then
yeah.
the guys come out.
See, I think that the reason why the team would not allow is their greatest nightmare would be
Mm,
like
yeah.
Tatis is jumping up and down, and then he tears his ACL. Is done for the season, and but that's why there probably will never be a dance party. But I can see them singing or rapping. I do watching like I would pay a lot of money to see Tatis rap, even though I don't watch, like I don't listen to any rap songs, but I would do it. It's
Yeah.
Tatis, I would love to see Machado with the hat backwards with a huge chain. Probably have one of those like, and
The
then
home
just
run
like
thing.
unbutton his jersey and then start rapping.
Yeah,
Like I don't watch rap. I don't listen to rap, but I would pay to see it. It would be awesome.
yeah.
I
I
think it
would
would be awesome.
definitely make the trip over
Yeah,
to check that out
for
'cause
sure.
it's only like a 6 hour drive to San Diego, which isn't really that bad. I mean,
Yeah, it's a
so
day trip. Well, it's not a day trip. I can get there in a day.
yeah, yeah. That's usually what we do, and then
Yeah,
chill on the beach. But
yeah.
so one of the other big things that happened this week that I'm pretty excited for was the CPBL baseball cards came out.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, are
I
you?
got mine. Not here, but I got mine.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures, and I gotta say, like, well, I say it every year. I'm like, these are the coolest cards I've ever seen. They've outdone themselves this year, and it seems like every year they just keep up stepping up their game. And this is going to sound really dumb, but I think they have really great looking wrappers as well. Like the
Yes.
packaging is done really really good.
The wrapper this year is really fun. It's a really good one.
Yeah,
Last year was a little bit, yeah, like it's just a huge face of Cha-Cha and that was it. But this year I feel like is very eye-popping, which is really
yeah,
good. Um, I just don't like I like it. I like the stuff this year, but I hate the white frame like on any card. I hate the white frame. Like it doesn't matter if it's tops or upper deck, or the CPBL. I mean, to say I don't think the CPBL has done white frames ever up until this
yeah,
year. But this year
yeah,
they have. Okay.
yeah,
But this year their cards has a white frame,
yeah.
and I hate white frames
Really?
because why have a white frame? Like, why? What's the point of it? I don't understand the point of a white frame. Like, if I want to frame it, I can just buy my own frame. Like,
Yeah.
why do you need to? Okay, so what that's a little bit different because it has the color, like the color scheme, which makes it a little bit
Oh,
less of a
kind
white
of.
frame.
Yeah.
But this year is just like every single one of them. Like, doesn't matter what team it. I'm checking this picture right now because I need to double check. But the frames around the centerpiece, like it's the same for every team besides like the team name on the bottom, which isn't just black. um but yes, I don't like the white frame at all. Honestly, if right now the frame is technically on top of the image of the player,
Yeah.
so the white frame kind of cuts like the arm if it goes out of frame. I feel
Mhm.
like if they allowed picture the player picture to go over the frame, it would be a little bit better. It just feels constrained. Like, why are you have the whole card to work with? Why are you constraining yourself to like the 70% of it with no reason? Um, and also, there are a lot more cheerleader cards in the packs this year.
Yeah.
A lot more, and not all of them. So I first thought that all cheerleader cards are signet or autos, and
Yeah.
then my mom opened the first 5 packs for me, and I was watch. We were FaceTiming, and I watched her unpacking every one of them. And the first
Oh,
time I
really?
saw a cheerleader card, I was so excited because I thought, I finally got an auto. But no, like they have regular cheerleader cards,
Yeah.
and I mean, out of the 5 packs, I probably have like 3 right now, and I just feel like,
Oh,
yeah,
cheerleaders?
yes, of cheerleader cards, and I was like, like I get it. I get why people might want them,
Mhm.
but in the past they were so popular because it's so rare. But now you make it a lot less rare. I don't know if that is.
Yeah, I guess they're so popular that kind of give the people what they want type thing. But
Yeah, and also there's a little bit less stuff to work with. Like in the past years, I know from 2017 to 2019, there's national team cards that they can do. There
yeah,
were no obviously there were no international competitions last year. So I understand like there's probably a little bit less theme stuff they can do besides the pandemic, world's first, and all of that. But at the end of the day, they're just trying. I feel like there's a little bit. Uh, they probably ran out of stuff a little bit. I'm not sure, um, but yeah,
yeah.
I can't wait to. I don't know when my mom is shipping the card. I think she might be using it as leverage, so I go back in December. But
Oh, you do? Nice.
well, I'm not. Well,
Oh,
I haven't bought. I haven't really planned it, but my mom seems to be a big fan of it for many reasons, obvious reasons, and maybe she says that she's gonna ship it this week. This
oh,
coming week. But I still have a little bit of a doubt in my mind that she's going to use it for leverage.
yeah.
Trying to negotiate my way back to Taiwan, but we'll see. I can't wait to see the cards. And yeah, I got 30 packs. So
Are you surprised at all at how fast they've sold out? Because I mean, we're
yes and no.
so.
Yes, yes.
Let me explain it a little bit better. When you were previously living in Taiwan, were you really aware of the CPBL baseball cards? Was that?
I wasn't aware of baseball cards at all before I met
Oh,
the
okay.
CPBL Twitter community.
Yeah. So now, hmm, well, you already said it. It does and it doesn't. So
For me, it's a yes or no, a yes and no. A yes, because at the time when I first saw it, I was surprised by it. But then when I saw the reasoning behind it, it made sense to me
yeah.
because I know it for a fact in 20 at least last year that they had a pre-order limit of uh, 50 packs per person. So 10 pre-order packs and one pre-order pack equals 5 regular packs. So you could only pre-order 10 pre-order packs, which equals up to 50 packs per person
Yeah.
per purchase. And well, per purchase, not per person. If you want to go back and rebuy, I guess you could.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this year, you could go to the kiosk and put in as whatever number you want to put in.
Oh, really?
So there's no limit this year. And at first, I didn't. So the original post from the league on Facebook didn't specify that there are no limit. But they also did not specify that there is a limit. And so I thought it was 10 packs, and I told my mom to get 6.
Yeah.
And um, oh, I asked my mom to get 6. I'm a nice son. And um, and then the news came out that it said it is sold out. And I'm like, how is it possible? Like because the post says pre-order from whatever date to November. And
Mhm.
it was like a week or 2 or 10 days before November that they got sold out. And I was just like, how is this possible? Like I was happy for the league because they got sold out, but also I'm like, how wow, like this is incredible. And I went to the comments, a lot of people were not happy because they thought they could wait till a couple more weeks or a couple more days to get them. But then it turns out that not only there's a supply limit on the league side, there is a supply limit of how many they could ship out the pre-order packs, because this year they actually do separate between the pre-order packs and regular packs. And there's no limit on the buyer side to buy. So it obviously the plus and the minus from both sides led to a really quick sold out. And yeah, and this, so for the pre-order packs, they package 5 packs, kind of tape it together. But every 5 packs, there will be a sticker that says this is a pre-order pack. This is not a regular pack. So,
Oh,
um,
really?
Yeah, so there are a couple of cards that's only exclusive for pre-order packs. There's for
Mm.
some others. But yeah, so if you're just a guy that wants to hoard them or want to sell them on Shopee, which is the Taiwanese version of eBay, or just want to sell them on eBay, you can buy a bunch, and I don't think anybody would have stopped anyone to do
Yeah,
that. So yeah, so on the league side, they only set aside so much cards for pre-order packs, but they didn't really limit anybody to buy as many like or like on the buying side. So when you balance two sides that way, obviously it ends up being very imbalanced.
gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. So we were on the topic of cheerleaders earlier. This is the only one I've ever pulled. Uh,
I have no idea who she is.
she,
Maybe Go CPPL. I mean CPPL stats would know. Is that
yeah,
an EDA Rhino cheerleader?
it just says baseball girl.
Huh, that's interesting. Does it say
Yeah.
hold on? Yeah, it doesn't say any team on it either.
No.
No, that's it. What year was it? Do you remember?
It always confuses me because they're 2 years behind. Uh,
When did you get it?
oof.
Oh, okay. So, oh,
2016.
so like
So maybe
2014.
2018. Or no.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Other way around.
yeah. Uh,
Baseball girl. That's interesting.
yeah.
But
2015.
oh, maybe you can put. Well, I know Lamigo definitely had baseball. Probably EDA because that's their color. I don't know. You can probably put it on Shopee and a lot of people buy it because
I don't know.
cheerleaders at the time is probably a little bit more rare than they are now.
Yeah. It also says Yumi. Yumi Young.
Yumi Young. I I don't know. Let me check. I don't know. I don't know who she is.
Yeah. I don't know. Baseball girl.
Yeah.
So that's the only one I've ever pulled, and now I'm thinking she was a cheerleader, but she may not even be a cheerleader. So who knows?
Yeah. Let me see.
Are you looking her up?
Yes. Oh, there were Passion Sister cards of 2015.
Jesse
Um,
says she's with the brothers. Even better. Even better. Oh,
but yeah, I don't see
thanks.
any. I don't see any 2015 baseball girl cards.
No.
No.
It was one of the subsets or
Yeah,
inserts.
most probably, but
Yeah.
the CP like I don't think there's like a database of literally every single card, like every number of every single card like they do in the states. Like what like baseballcards.com would have like every
Oh, like
single number. Yeah, I
trading
don't
card
think they do that.
database.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I don't think they do that there. So
Well, somebody would have to do it manually, because my friend Dan, he manually uploads all the KBO sets.
yeah, wow,
Yeah,
that's impressive. That is
yeah,
very
yeah, and he does the translations and everything too.
wow.
So, yeah, it's
Oh, let
tedious
me show you
but
something though. Speaking of
extremely.
baseball cards, brothers baseball cards.
Yes, I wanted to ask you about that. Where did you get? I know you got it off of eBay, but where was that located?
I just searched CTBC brothers and they showed up.
Yeah,
I was definitely not at work looking at eBay,
yeah.
but
But no, I'm
um,
talking about where was the seller located?
he's in the states. I got it in like a couple days. I got it like I prob well day and it arrived on the following Friday. So it wasn't like it was definitely not international shipping. This
Yeah,
is Hong Yi-jung, who is the current manager of the Fubon Guardians, who was
yeah.
a catcher for the Brothers Elephant, and this is third year Cpbl third year cards, um, and well you can't see it on here, but obviously those are the stats for the first half of that year. So this is like a half season card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So like an update type thing. Are you that I'm glad you brought that up because I had a couple questions I wanted to ask you about that. Are you ever surprised at the CPBL memorabilia that actually makes it to the States?
I mean, I've only seen them on eBay, and
Yeah,
a lot of them ship from overseas. It's actually not a well. It's a lot less than I hope it would be.
yeah, yeah.
um, I think a lot of people. Well, yeah, there's probably not a huge market of CPBL stuff,
Mhm.
uh, but um, I am surprised at how cheap some of the stuff that I was looking for because I was just looking for players that played here.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, that's the thing with the foreign leagues. When people don't know what they have, they either price it really low
Or
or
really high.
just stupid insane. Like,
Yeah.
oh, well, this guy's from Japan or Taiwan, so he's got to be good if he's playing over here, type
Yeah.
thing. And they just ask the moon, and the
Yeah.
guy hasn't played, and you know, he hasn't played in the league in like 5 years, but they're still pricing it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I No, I was a little bit more disappointed at how little stuff eBay had, probably more because I was just searching like Cpbl, there was nothing. I searched the Chinese thing was Cpbl, there was nothing. But yeah, I was just like, I was like, I was bored. I was like, hey, just put. I was putting every team, like the name of every team down, and for some of them, it was like I found a some people actually some sort does a good job. Like they actually update which team that player played for. So I was like Bollinger. Like I put in Rakuten Monkeys and Bollinger card will show up. Like I mean credit to the seller for doing
mhm,
a little bit of research and
yeah.
putting that in. But yeah, I was putting the name of every team up there, and the CT when I put in the CTBC brothers, this stack showed up, and it was in a bid, and it was at the starting price of 99 cents with $4 shipping, but it has 27 cards. So I was just like, I am gonna bid for this. I'm not gonna tell Justin until after I win the bid, which is exactly what I did at
Yes,
the end.
you did. It was amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was pretty cool, and
yeah.
you actually have it with the album as well.
Yeah, this is
'Cause
a
I'm
really
sure that's
nice
one of
thing.
his.
Like this
Yeah,
obviously is the old logo of the brothers stitched on. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is a whole. I mean, I'm not sure if this is the whole set, but
yeah.
if I would bet money on it, it probably was the whole set because this is probably bought the whole set and it came with this, and it's like it's not leather, but I mean it's good quality. I mean it hasn't.
Yeah.
This has existed for 20 years and it
Yeah, and
doesn't
it
show
looks like
any.
it's almost brand new, so,
Yeah, it looks almost brand new to me. So yeah,
yeah.
good mate, good
And then,
maintenance there.
some other baseball news, WPJ, Wong Po Jung,
Yes.
he are you happy that he resigned, uh, with the Fighters, or were you hoping that he would maybe try to make the jump to the States or even go back to Taiwan?
He will not make the. He will not. I do not believe a single MLB organization will go for him, for
No?
one reason and one reason. Oh, two for two reasons. One, he can't play defense, right?
Well,
Like he can't. Well, probably because Japan has a little bit more stricter expectations of somebody playing defense than the states. But he played like a handful of games in the outfield last year. So he doesn't really he like if you're gonna sign him, you kind of expect him to be a defensive liability at the
mhm,
very least, right? That's number one. Number two, he's 28.
yeah.
So
Well,
so if you're gonna plug him into AAA, and let's just barring a magical uh, uh, what do you call it? A miracle, but barring a miracle, um, he's a AAA level hitter that can't play in the field. That's gonna
University
eat up and can only play DH.
yeah.
So if your organization, why like you can say, well, you can just sign him for not a lot of money for as a lottery shot. But for me, it's like, well, that's not if you're signing a player at that age, plugging into your AAA team, the financial cost is not the only cost for your organization. Because you're taking at bats away from your other very promising 22, 23-year-old outfielders or just players away for this 28-year-old guy who was, let's just say, he's above average in Japan, and not a lot of not a lot of there's only Hideki Matsui is the only power hitter that worked that was an export from Japan, and he was raking it in Japan. There's not another power hitter that worked in the MLB that was an export from Asia. So Won Borong is not fast enough to be a contact hitter in the majors because if he gets on base, he's not going to be a threat on the base path. And let's if you even do consider him as a power hitter, Not a lot of them have worked, and Wong Wei Chung has shown that he's a really good power hitter in Japan.
Yeah.
And if you sign him as a lottery, unless you're so thin on your AAA level that you need a DH, but who needs a DH in AAA? Like, why would you need a DH? Like, why can't you just grab somebody else from your AA team and let him hit? Like, just feed him AAA at bats. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I to me, it doesn't make sense for MLB organization to sign him. So I don't think he will ever come here unless he goes for 40 home runs in the next 2 years, and a team desperately needs a DH in American League will probably get him. But I don't think he's gonna be a project anymore. He probably could have been a project at 25, but not at 28.
No.
Um, that being said, I'm happy that he stayed in Japan, because if he had gone back to the CPBL, he would never been able to go back overseas. And he's kind of like the poster child of the CPBL right now, because he's the only CPBL export besides Nifudo in 2008 to the MLB. But he's like the only CPBL export in the last 10, 15, 10 years. So if you're a fan of Taiwanese baseball, you want to see Taiwanese players grow,
Mhm.
then you want to see him staying abroad. I mean, he had a pretty solid year. It's not like he had a terrible year,
No,
but
he came on pretty strong at the second half.
yeah, but he's just not at the level where people expected or people wanted to see out of him when he first got there. He's not hitting 400, right?
Oh yeah, no,
Um,
the hype was insane. Like
yeah,
I was super happy that I had so many of his rookie cards, and I was like, fingers
yeah.
crossed that he just blows up over there. But
Yeah, but I'm happy for him, and I think it's an insurance policy for Nippon, for the Nippon Ham, because I know they signed a couple of foreign position players, but those are from I don't want to I don't know where they're from. I don't know which country they're from, but they're from Latin America.
mhm.
And I think in the pandemic era, um, if you're if Japanese team or even a KBO team, I thought he would probably land a KBO team, because if you're an Asian team, it's such a better insurance policy to get another Asian player that can perform. It's a
Yeah,
short
yeah,
flight. He can he's gonna get there. He's gonna report. He was the first like foreign player to report to the team last year in Japan,
no,
because it's a short flight, and you don't need to really worry about him uh, flying there. and um, and so if he can perform above average, I think especially during the pandemic era, it's gonna be a good enough sell for a lot of teams, especially when you're in the bottom feeder, like the Nippon Ham will be in the next couple of years. So yeah, it's I think it's a much safer bet for MPB teams and KBO teams, if they can, to get an Asian player for their foreign player slots, especially the one that's caliber of Wong Borong, who's proven that he can hit in the MPB. There are so many busts. Like the MPB is littered with busts of high profile foreign players that came over from the US or Latin America or South America that just didn't work. But Wong Borong, he's not going to be terrible, because he's shown that he can perform at a consistent level.
yeah,
And also he's only making 70 million yen, which is a lot lower than it was before. So it's not like you're breaking out the checkbook,
yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that. So
There's really I now that I think about it, I can only think of one Asian player that's played in the KBO, and he was from Taiwan. So Wong Wei Chung. Uh,
yes, he got traded to KBO from the
yeah,
Brewers,
yeah,
pitched for the NC Dinos for a year, and then elected free agency, went back to
yeah.
Oakland. But that's a little bit. He wasn't an export from the CPPL though. He was.
Oh, I got you. I
Yeah,
got
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I can't think of anybody else.
There's no
Just
CPPL export besides Nifuta, who went to the Tigers.
yeah,
He was pitching for the China Trust Wales. That team disbanded. Went to Detroit after the 2008 season. That was the only other CPL export. Um, but yeah, there are a lot of Taiwanese players out there, just not from the league. Um, and so yeah, I think the better players like Womborong does,
Mhm.
I think you obviously want him to perform well, but um, the idea was if he does really well in Japan, then KBO teams and MPB teams will seriously look at getting CPBL players to play for them. And most of the time, CPBL most of the time those two leagues offer better money, right?
Yeah.
And there's a chance that the minor like American franchises will start looking at CPBL players, and so the idea was that you can probably funnel more young talent rather than them going straight from high school to abroad. They can you can probably finally start funneling them through the CPBL, so the CPBL can rise to another level. And probably it will force CPBR franchises to start paying players more money, and therefore it starts to become a more uh, optimistic career choice. But that was the idea behind Womborong being very good, like exporting to Japan, being the first one as a trailblazer,
Yeah.
and getting there. Um, I think he's done he's done well in Japan, but in order to reach that, this it's still a huge difference between his level and the level it would have taken for everything I just said to come true. And people were, obviously people were really excited about everything I was talking about, but obviously that takes a lot more, and it's hard to do. I mean, trailblazer, you're going abroad. You're 25. You're going abroad. And you have already established a good career in Taiwan. If he had stayed in Taiwan, he would have been a god by now. He would have been walking on water. But no, like credit to him, he chose to bet on himself. And right now, it looks like it's been paying off a little bit more. But he's basically got a year more, one more year to prove himself. I think.
Yeah. And I mean, usually it takes a couple years to learn the league, learn the
Yeah,
pitchers, get comfortable.
yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, I'm hoping he does well because I
yeah.
like seeing I just like seeing foreign players in general do well. Uh, not as not like foreign is just because he's Asian, but somebody that's able to be out of their element
Yeah.
and just dominate. So I don't know because I like underdogs,
Yeah.
So you're kind of an underdog even though you have crazy high expectations where they think,
And I
oh,
was rooting so hard for Rosel Herrera too for the Dragons,
yeah,
being the only besides Eduardo Nunez, but he was essentially gonna be the only position player in the league for a good stretch. He was probably only gonna be the only position player to stay a whole season. I'm not sure if I know the Monkeys went for a position player in 2019. I'm not sure if he stayed for the whole season though. But Rosal Herrera, when he was signed, he was destined to be a pretty solid regular starter because he was allowed to because of the expansion and all that. So I was rooting really hard for Rosal Herrera. Um, and yeah, just like you said, he's defying odds because foreign players in the CPP are mostly pitchers.
yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think of who that foreign player was that you were talking about for the brothers. I know that I had cards of him, but I can't think of it right now.
For the brothers, I was talking about the monkeys, but I
Oh,
actually hold on. I probably have the card of him. Um,
he gone.
I think it was Alex Liddy.
Oh, that's
Alex
totally
Liddy.
not who I was thinking of, Liddy.
Um, this guy, I'm pretty sure he
What is that?
played a position. He was a position player for the brothers, probably for half a
Yeah,
season.
yeah,
I accidentally bought this card. There's a card that looks like this for Chen Show Nunu for Rakuten,
yeah.
and it's always like $50 on eBay. And I saw this card, like it looked exactly the same, and it was like $15. I'm like, oh my god, I finally got a deal. And then I bought it. And then as soon as I bought it, I realized it was not him. It was this guy called Alex Liddy. And then I researched him out. I think he played like half a season for the brothers. So
Yeah, he's that dude. His passport is pretty impressive. He's one of those guys that has played everywhere. Uh, Yeah, and he's playing in the winter leagues. I think he played in the KBO as well. I don't know if Dan is still watching, but I'm pretty sure he played in the KBO. That's it. Thank you, Justin. Eric Wood.
Eric
That's
Wood.
yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Because he's in the brother set. I don't know if Alex Liddy is in the set though.
I don't think so because he only played 33 games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
he
then
had.
how many games did Eric Wood play?
I don't know. I'm on the Alex Liddy
Oh, okay.
baseball reference page though. Eric
Yeah,
Wood. The first guy that popped up is a football center, so not him.
no. I mean,
Uh,
it could be because who is it? Not Reese Hoskins. Dylan Cousins. He retired from the Phillies and now he's going back to college.
Eric Wood played 2 games.
Yeah,
He played in. Yeah, he played in 2 games.
yeah.
Had 9 at-bats, 0 hits with 3 strikeouts. he's
There you
he's striking out at 33% rate.
go.
So
He got in the fight. He got in a fight with the
I
manager.
think did he? He
That's
got a. I don't
so
know.
then Liddy has to be in the brother set. If Eric Wood is in the set, and he
I
had
don't know. Yeah, he probably is,
yeah.
but I don't think a lot of people keep him.
Oh, here we go. Got into a fight with the coaches about bunting. Jeez.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
By the way, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
I was going to say I don't mind bunting. When I was one of the greatest things I got to see. I'm not lying. KBO All Star Game. I got to see the Bunt King competition, and it was awesome
Yeah, yeah.
because
I
it wasn't just because the cool thing about their competitions, like they have a hitting competition or the bunting competition. It doesn't matter if you're a position player or not. Pitchers can do it.
yeah,
They have the perfect pitcher competition, and position players do it.
yeah,
So it's awesome. Everybody gets to participate.
yeah.
It,
1 year in the Cpbl, 1 year they really ramped it up. I think it probably was before. It probably was 2019. Um, they had so they set up like 24 boards around like so since they set up 24 boards inside the infield,
uh,
and they have a guy soft tossing it to the hitter, and then the hitter is supposed to like hit as many boards as he could.
yeah.
So it's like a precision batting
Hmm.
competition. It didn't go well though. I think the winner got like 5 boards. Oh, also because the board was like way above. It was like a good maybe 3 feet above the ground. So you have to be hitting a line drive. But
Uh,
so it wasn't. So if it were on the ground, I think a lot more hitters would be getting those. There was also one that was like throwing accuracy, where the guy would be at center field, and a huge like dartboard kind of board would be like at right in front of the pitching mound, and then you're supposed to like throw the ball from center field to that board, and it's basically like throwing darts, but like who
mm,
can throw it better. There's also one that's was who has the strongest arm, and then
okay.
all it was all position players that was trying to throw as fast as they could. I think the top speed was 90 miles per hour, 92 or 93 or something like that. I think Lin Zhexuan, the guy for the Fubon Guardians, had one of the strongest arms. Um, I mean, he had a strong arm in America. Like he was known for his defense and his strong arm. So he was, yeah, I think 99. It was 150 kilometers per hour. I think some of them got there.
Got
Yeah. So and then one of the classic of All Star Game is the base running competition
mm,
in Taiwan. Like I ran it once at a summer camp. Like it's a thing. Um so like every team, so both teams have like I think four. Each player has to run 4 people, and uh each person runs like 2 bags. So if your team starts at second base, then that person have to run to third and home
yeah.
plate. So you switch, and then basically it's like a race. Like you're trying to outrun the other team. That whoever gets to the last bag first in the other team wins. And you can see like it's a parallel race kind of. It's the base running is always fun to do, fun to watch. Yeah, but it's so much better Well, we also have the home run derby too, but
Mhm.
the MLB All Star Festival is so weak. Is is,
Yeah.
is is weak. It's home run derby, yay! And then like these celebrities who probably haven't touched a glove since Little League comes out here and plays 60-foot slow pitch softball.
Which is usually tape delayed, and they
Yeah,
show it at like midnight anyway.
yeah,
So,
yeah. It's I don't like the MLB All Star Festival at all.
but uh, you still have some friends in the CPBL. Here's the greatest competition I've ever seen. The AA affiliate of the Philadelphia Phillies, the Reading Phillies, had the Eastern League All Star Game one year.
Yeah.
They didn't have a home run derby. They had a hitting competition with fans on the field. Now, what
Oh,
they did at the end of the infield, they put up a chain link fence.
yeah,
So the fans had the free reign of the outfield, right?
yeah.
You had they had like food trucks and shit out in the outfield. You got bonus points if you hit the food truck. They had people in, like the dunk tank,
Yeah.
but they made the circle bigger, and they had people in the outfield in dunk tanks, and you got points if you hit those. Like, you know how San Francisco has that giant mid out in the outfield? Well, they had signs like that. It wasn't like a 500-foot home run to hit it.
Yeah, yeah.
They had these different bonuses. They had a person on a trampoline jumping up and down during the
Trying to
hitting
catch it.
competition. Yeah, trying to catch balls. And if they were actually able to catch a ball, it was extra points. Like,
Oh my
yeah,
god, that is amazing.
yeah.
That sounds
God, what
great.
year was it? Oh, it was so long ago. I want to say it was like 2010, but
Do
look
they
up.
not do that anymore?
They only did it one year
Oh,
because the All-Star game rotates to a different team each year, like MLB.
yeah.
But that team comes up with
Uh,
the competition, how they want to do it.
but I
Uh,
mean, every team can copy it. Like it's not.
yeah, yeah, no, no.
And they
But
did.
there was what was it? There was a year, the California Carolina League All-Star game. They had the home run derby. It was in California. I want to say it was maybe Lake Elsinore Storm were hosting it. They did the home run derby on an aircraft carrier.
Oh, I
And
think I saw that. Yeah.
And then there was another year. This was also the California Carolina League All Star game back when those leagues existed. Each year, the All Star game would shift between the California League and the Carolina League.
Yeah.
So one year, the Wilmington Blue Rocks had it. And so instead of the batter batting from home plate, the batter hit from center field and was hitting the ball in the stands, because in Wilmington, Delaware, they don't have outfield seats because it's like the interstate
Oh,
is
that
right
is so
there.
cool.
Yeah, so they
That is so
dropped the
cool.
yeah, so they dropped the nets,
Yeah.
and then so that way fans could actually get home run derby balls. Oh, nice! I didn't even know that. Justin, dropping knowledge again. So
Yeah. Yeah,
you,
I mean, those are some cool ideas, man. Like
yeah.
it, and then MLB could do so much better.
Oh yeah, but they take their stuff too seriously.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, they would never put anybody in a dunk tank or on a trampoline out in the
No.
outfield,
No. Yeah.
but I mean, the closest thing MLB gets to that is the stupid guy with the moon on his head and the Budweiser display, if you hit
Yeah.
that. And it's not even real beer. If it was like a pyramid of beer cans and a
Oh,
baseball
that would have been cool.
through it,
Yes.
yeah, that would be awesome. It would
Yeah, that
suck
would
for
be
the
really
people sitting
cool.
behind it, but I would enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that sounds really fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely better than, that hit a couple home runs, then you call a timeout, people give you Gatorade and
Uh,
like you
I mean, it was fun the first time I saw it. Probably the second time too. By the ninth time, you're just like, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think the most exciting one I've seen that I enjoyed, because I mean, I did remember watching the not Lewis Hamilton, Josh Hamilton 40 something home runs, Yankees game.
Yeah,
But I mean, I did,
2000
but I
and
was too.
win.
Yeah, he didn't win. Morneau won.
Yeah,
And Morneau also scored the game-winning run in that year's All-Star game. Um, but yeah, I remember watching that, but I didn't feel I wasn't old enough to like feel the gravity of it. I think the one that really felt it was the Adrian Gonzalez and Robinson Cano battle. I think it was in Arizona, and it was like a de facto Yankee Red Sox rivalry, where Robinson Cano and Adrian Gonzalez was battling it out in the finals, and I think they went to extra rounds and stuff like that. And also Robinson Cano's dad was feeding Cano, and the Robinson Cano's dad is Jose Cano, who pitched for the Uni Lions. So
Really?
that's a fun fact. Yes, I think okay. It must have been 2010 because there was a MLB Taiwan series in All Star series in 2011, and before one of the games, they actually did do like a home runs for charity for Robinson Cano because he won the home run derby the year before, and Jose Cano, who was a Uni Lions pitcher, and everybody in Taiwan knew about him, and there were a lot of press coverage about the home run derby the year before because everybody knew, that pitcher was playing Taiwan, and that guy loved Taiwan, Jose Cano. His nickname in Taiwan, like his nickname on the back of his jersey, was Aku, which is his Chinese name, and also the name of one of the instant noodle brands of the Uni President brands.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so they came to Taiwan again. Jose Cano was like, "Oh, I love Taiwan. I absolutely loved bringing my son here to experience Taiwan and all of that." Um, and uh, and so they had a home run derby. Cano hit like 2 home runs, which is a little bit disappointing, but what can you do? It's November. And then there was like I remember this one news package, like somebody was filming Jose Cano like eating instant noodles, and then he's like, "Yeah, I'm eating myself. Like, look at this, I'm eating myself." Yeah, it was really fun. He's a great guy, and So Robinson Cano's dad pitched in the Cpbl one time, once upon a time.
I never even knew that. I
Yeah.
love finding out stuff like that. All these people that you think they retired from Major League Baseball a long time ago, and you're like, that dude's been playing in Taiwan or he's been playing in Korea. Like, yeah, you didn't even realize it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure 10 years, but not by now. 10 years from now, nobody would know that Eduardo Nunez played a few games for the Football Guardians.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't remember, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
But
for sure.
well, it's actually getting late here in Arizona.
Oh
And
yeah, you guys are an hour early. Behind? You're an hour
yeah,
behind. Yeah.
yeah, it's actually later for you.
I'm a recent grad, so I stay up late still.
Yeah,
Which is fine
yeah,
with me.
gotta get up crazy early for work. But thank
Uh,
you for
yeah,
filling in.
no
Uh,
problem.
and I'm always learning something. So
Yeah,
yeah,
hit me up when you need me back on. I'm always happy to sit down and talk to you.
definitely. Well, hopefully next time we're on, we'll be opening up some baseball cards.
Yes,
So
and hopefully I'll be producing that like a real show.
yeah, yeah, I
I'm
can
excited
wait.
for it.
Yes, but
Yeah.
do you have anything you want to plug?
I plugged my podcast last time.
Yeah.
I also pretty sure I plugged on the Twitter account, but the Taiwan series coming up. It's in about, I would say, 3 weeks, because 2 weeks left of the regular season, plus about a couple more days of makeup games, and then probably a week before the Taiwan series starts. So 3 weeks from now, the brothers and the Lions will probably face off each other again for a rematch of the 2020 series. We all know how that went for you, Justin. Um, I think I do think though, the one thing about this series that's going to be very intriguing is last year the Lions almost had no expectations.
Yeah.
Not only going into the season, but also going into the series. There was a win. It was a win-win situation for the Lions. And it was a win and bad loss situation for the brothers. Um, but this year, uh, the Lions already shown that they might falter under the pressure if they're expected to win in the first half. They had a slim lead. People were expecting them to battle it out and probably win, but they went cold in a very key stretch of the first half that allowed the brothers to win. Right now, it's kind of the opposite now in the second half, where the brothers are having their cold streak in a very inopportune time for the second half championship. That being said, since the Lions now have the expectations of winning, it's a whole different series than last year. And the monkeys on those brothers' back will still be there, but it won't be the Rakuten Monkeys this time.
No.
And but it will be a much more intriguing series. It will be a much more intense between both teams. I feel like the Lions have a much better rotation than the brothers do right now. But I would say this in my heart, I want the brothers to win, even though I think the Lions will win. But again, that's in 3 weeks. There's a lot of baseball left to play in Taiwan, and make sure you're tuning into the final stretch of the regular season, plus a potential playoff series, and obviously the Taiwan series as well. I think I just spoiled my Taiwan series prediction on my podcast, but that's okay.
I, I I think there's only like 2 people watching, and my parents will watch this tomorrow, and I doubt they will spoil your prediction. They have to call me to help them with Facebook. It's extremely frustrating. So I think you're all right. I think you're all right.
Right.
But yeah, we should definitely set up. Uh, if we haven't gotten the baseball cards by then, in 3 weeks, have you back on for the Taiwan series preview.
For sure. Thank you so
Yeah,
much. Thank you so much for having me on.
you're welcome. Thank you, and thank you to everyone for tuning in. We will see you next week.